Hey everybody, so we're back to what's on the shelf and we're on part 17. So let's have a look at what I have on in this cubby. So we have Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, Legacy, The Testament of Duke de Crecy, Stockpile, and then Memoir 44. So I started the Gloomhaven series with this game, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and it's actually, I think, a pretty good one to start with because the 5 first scenarios slowly builds you up into understanding and playing with all the rules. Also, Watch It Played with Rodney Smith makes amazing videos on learning how to play those first 5 scenarios, so I recommend that if you want to. But with this one, so it's a campaign game because you slowly go through each campaign. We're on 13 or 19. That's a fairly big gap, so I think we're about halfway through this particular game, and then afterwards we'll go to the full Gloomhaven game. Biggest difference between this one and the main Gloomhaven is, from what I understand, the maps. And that's the biggest complaint I've heard about Gloomhaven is the time required to set up your mats, to take down, to change it up. With Jaws of the Lion, they've introduced the map book. So you have a book that, depending on the scenario you go to that page, you open it up. It gives you the details as to what's happening in that particular scenario, which monsters are coming in, any special rules for that particular one. And then if it's a bigger scenario, they'll bring in the second book that'll kind of tack on to it, so then you get a slightly bigger map. So it makes setup super easy. And there you see the Gloomhaven, so everybody plays as their own character. As you go from scenario to scenario, your character will level up, become more powerful, gain more items. Will slowly kind of be changing cards that are in that you're playing with, so that your cards are more powerful. When you do your actions, the first thing is you select the order of who's going to go first depending on the numbers that you have on your card. And it could be one player goes first, then the first set of monsters, then the second player, then the fourth set of monsters, or something like, or the second set of monsters. So it kind of varies between the monsters and the players that way. And then on your card, you have 2 parts to it. So the top part is a different action. The bottom part, it mostly tends to be like a movement action. So you get to pick 2 cards each round, and you select 1 top and 1 bottom action. So you kind of decide what you're going to do. Now you do draw these cards that kind of decide what you're going to do, but you don't always know what the other players are going to do. So you're like, oh, I was going to do something. So you kind of have to change a little bit on the fly, but you can't change your cards. So it's a neat one. It's kind of a puzzle dungeon crawl, I guess. So you get the scenario and kind of try to make it through. They give you a mission of what you're trying to accomplish. This was the last time we played it there. I'll say this one's a bit of a table hog. It takes a lot of space on the table just because you got all the monsters and all their decks that get set up, your deck, and then all the items that you have in the map. So it can take some space for sure. So you want to set up a fairly bigger table. And I'll just get you a closer look at the map and what that looks like. So it's really, like, the artwork is really neat. It looks good. That's a good looking game, and it's a very fun game as well. Highly recommend it. So next one on that cubby is Legacy, The Testament of Duke de Crecy. This one is very interesting. It kind of takes place in the, the Victorian era, I guess. And you're head of the family, and your goal is to build the most prestige and proper reputation for your family by creating the best family line that you can. So you're going to start by marrying somebody and then having children. And then with your children, you're going to either by arranged marriage or trying to set them up with partners that will benefit the family. So depending on who you have and what your kind of objective are, could be that, you know, your particular family respects a lot of science, so you'll want to bring scientists in the mix and different things like that. So it's kind of a neat theme, and I don't know, it's weird. Like, you're just basically marrying your children off and then marrying your grandchildren off, and you're building this family line so that at the end you're gonna score. The solo version, actually I've played the solo version once, and it's the opposite. Basically what you're doing in the solo version is you start with yourself and you look through your family tree trying to find a wealthy relative. So you'll start with yourself, you'll go and look at your parents and then see what their parents were like, and you're trying to kind of build that family tree to trying to arrange to have a wealthy relative so that you kind of become an heir. Very neat. Now if Gloomhaven was table hog, this one is much worse, and that's kind of because when you add all the cards with the children, and when the children grows, you flip them over, and it's kind of whether it's some you know, a girl or boy, and then who you match them up with, and then you kind of add all these cards, creating your family tree, and then it takes a lot of space, most definitely. And you'll want to throw balls or different things to kind of, again, bring honor or prestige to your family, so that your family is one worth to know, right? Definitely an interesting game. It's one that I'll need to play again. It just takes so much space on the table. This one here, this game that was set up, it was only a 2-player game. That was just 2 of us playing. It would take so much room, but it was very interesting. And if you were into that era, the Victorian era and those type of stories, you'll get a kick out of this one for sure. Now, next one I have on my cubby is called Stockpile. So I used to work for a company that taught stock and real estate investing, so I'm a big fan of stock games. And this one is interesting because everybody gets some inside information. And there's some public information that'll tell you kind of what's about to happen with the stocks. So maybe you know you need to start dumping a certain stock because it's about to go down a lot, or you want to hold on to one and maybe buy some more because it's about to pay dividends, or different things like that. It has a neat bidding mechanic. So if you see at the bottom of the board there, it looks like little calculators. So you put your meeple to kind of where you want to bid and on the bundle that you want to bid. So at the beginning of every round, everybody gets 2 cards. One, it could be stocks, it could be a manipulation where you get to change the price of a stock, or it could be trading fees, different things like that. And you'll each put 1 card face up and 1 card face down, and you spread them out in these different bundles. So some of the information you don't know what they are, and some you do. So if you're trying to build something and you think people are aware, and you might put that one face down, or if you have a trading fee, you know people aren't going to go for the trading fee, so you might put that one face down so that they don't see what's in that particular bundle. And then you'll put your meeple on the calculator, selecting where you want to bid. So it's 0, 1, I think 4, 6, and so on. And then the next person goes, and they can either outbid you or bid on a different bundle. And if they outbid you, now once it's your turn again, you'll have to move your meeple. You can either outbid them again and stay on the same bundle, or move to a different bundle, and that keeps going until you have a player each with their own bundles, and then you collect those cards. You'll have to pay for the bundle that you've paid, unless you got it for free, because that's possible. Pay your trading fees. You can manipulate the market if you have the market manipulation. So if you see on the top portion of the board there, you have those little black rings, and that keeps track of where the stock price is. Now, if you ever move the stock price up high enough, the stock can split. So then if you have any of those stocks in your hand, they actually go into a different area that shows that they've been split, so they're worth 2. This board is double-sided. They have this side here that's showing there where the stocks have different values. Some goes up a lot faster, some pay dividend a lot more, or you know, so it just kind of it reacts a little bit differently. While on the other side, all the stocks move in similar ways. They all have the same setup. It's just depending on what you get. And then if you see on the right side of the board there, this is where you have that public information. So this one is saying that I think it's American Automotive is about to go down 2 spots. So if you have a lot of that one, it might be worthwhile selling it now, because you're going to sell it before it drops. And then so you have the information as well. Each player has their own information that they're aware of as well. Now you can also play with the different, like everybody gets a different player. Now they kind of hide the secret, but it's obvious that one's Bill Gates, and then he starts with a lot of money. One is, oh, what's her name? She went to jail. Martha Stewart. So she gets extra inside information because she ended up going to jail for inside trading, right? So it's kind of neat. We can add that to it, so it kind of adds a little bit more of an element into it. So you keep trading until you go for the number of rounds that is set up, and then whoever has the most money at the end wins, because you sell all your stocks at the end. This is a neat one, definitely. It's fun, it looks good, and it's great. Now the next game I have on my cubby is Memoir 44. Memoir 44 is one, if not my favorite game of all time, and I don't know why that is, because I'm not big into the army theme. I'm not big into area control, and it seems to be that's what this game is about. I played this one for the first time with my brother, and he kept bugging me to play it, but it's a two-player game, and we were always more people around, so I was like, well, no, we got extra people here, we'll play it some other time. And then I finally played it with him, and I was like, oh my god, and he's like, yeah, I know. So right away I went on a hunt to look for this game, and it's just amazing. So you get the main board that you spread out. You can be on the beach side or where it's just all land. And depending on the scenario that you get, because they replay the scenarios of the battles of Normandy. So it could be, you know, like when people got deployed on the beach on D-Day or different things. So it says, okay, so this is where you put your tanks, this is where you put your army guys. So you put your units where they started out in that scenario, and then you replay the battle. So you'll have different cards that will control different sides. So the board is divided in 3 segments. You know, the left, the middle, and the right. And then the cards that you have could be, you can move 4 units on the right side, or you can move 2 units in the middle, or you can move 1 unit in all different sections. So you kind of start manipulating and moving your guys, and you got your objective that you're trying to do. And if you destroy an enemy unit, you get a medal for that, and then you got to acquire so many medals to get the victory of the game. It's neat. It looks good. Every time I play it, it's kind of like get that giddy feeling that it's amazing. And then I had joined a Memoir 44 Facebook group, and someone on there offered to send me some 3D pieces that he had created. So I have these amazing pieces, so when I play, he puts all that up, and it just makes the game that much better. Love it. It's amazing. So that's it for that cubby. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page is Disbury and Area is playing all the games, or I am also on Instagram under boardgame_mama, as well as the YouTube channel Board Game Mama. Thanks everybody. We'll see you for the next cubby.